Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 127. Hey, happy Saturday night, folks. I figured I'd get the Daily Drop done before the main card of UFC starts. That way I can get it out a little bit earlier than the usual 10:30 or so. That way you guys can get on with your night. So I'm not going to be too long-winded with this monologue tonight either, but earlier, I was talking about Glenn Dubin's donations, and there's about 175 of them that I have uncovered, and I was going to go through them tonight, but I think it's going to need more time than I usually spend on the Daily Drop. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is we're going to do an evolution episode tomorrow, and the evolution episode is going to be strictly about Dubin's political contributions and who, if anyone, has returned them. Because we know that a guy like Dubin, who's hanging out with a guy like Jeffrey Epstein, who is spreading that money around, isn't just spreading it around to be nice, right? He's doing it so he can buy favor, so that he looks good. So in a situation such as this, if it ever occurs, he can fall back under the shroud of, look at how charitable I am. I gave away so much money. My wife is involved with breast cancer. We can never be guilty of these charges that are laid upon us. Are you kidding me? Look at our public image. And that's what they all try and do. But the party's over for them now. We all see behind the curtain. We all see what they're up to. We all know what they're doing. They're not doing it because they're selfless people with all of these people that are involved with Epstein especially. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people that donate to charity that are good people and they want to help. But these people that donate to charity in the way that these people donate to charity, and at the same time doing what they're doing, look, it's definitely a preventative measure for them, in my opinion. It's not because they're good people, because good people don't do to Virginia Roberts what Glenn Dubin did to Virginia Roberts, all right? Good people don't do that. So, on to our article for tonight. The article is from the Daily Mail, and folks, everything that I've said about the royal family is just right there and apparent for anyone to see. The whole entire Prince Andrew stepping back from royal duty had nothing to do with the fact that he was being credibly accused or that he was Epstein's friend, anything like that. All it had to do with was public appearance. If they could have got away with keeping him in his position like they have for all these years up until Epstein's second arrest and this whole entire ball started rolling, they would have never even mentioned this again. These survivors would have never even had a nod in their direction from the royals. They wouldn't even been acknowledged. They might as well have been non-existent to these people. And now that it's being forced into their faces, well, they'll put on the image of, Andrew being shunned and Andrew not being, part of the crew anymore. But then you get articles like this, and it's telling that it was the Chinese ambassador who revealed that Andrew was, delivering messages for the Queen. So, the headline of the article, Chinese ambassador reveals Prince Andrew is still representing the Queen after delivering a message expressing her sympathy for coronavirus victims. And look, I get it, noble cause, right? What's going on over in China with the coronavirus, it's scary and it's alarming, and it's you really feel bad for the people that are there, right? And not because it's like some deadly plague, folks, where it's, wiping out, 9 out of 10 people that catch it. The big problem from where I'm sitting and what I see over there, what's going on, and the most dangerous problem is their medical system is just spread too thin. And when, you have a viral pneumonia come on, you need, there's all kinds of different help that you need and all sorts of medicine that you need. So when they don't have enough beds, well, that poses the biggest risk, right? And then it becomes a whole entire, domino effect after that. The economy gets rocked. It pretty much grinds to a standstill if everybody's not healthy, et cetera, et cetera. So I could see why the UK is concerned, why they would reach out and they would want to, let the Chinese know that, hey, we're in your corner, we're rooting for you. But you couldn't have sent a better messenger? I mean, really? Prince Andrew? I mean, it's almost offensive, right? And if I was the Chinese, I would be offended if you sent Prince Andrew to be the messenger to come talk to me about coronavirus. You don't got no other royals that you could send over here for this little mission? Sheesh. He may have retired from public royal duties, but it didn't stop Prince Andrew performing a special royal mission for the Queen last week. Again, folks, it's all about public image. The Queen doesn't care one hoot, unfortunately, that Prince Andrew is being credibly accused. The Queen does not care, folks, all right? Again, she's another one that grew up in purple, right? She's one of these people who has had everything handed to her. She's one of these people. She's the Queen of England, for F's sake. And I'm not begrudging her that fact. But it's obvious to anyone paying attention that these people, like the royals, they live in a whole different stratosphere than we do. They might as well live on a different universe, an alternate universe, because they don't even understand basic optics. The Duke carried a message to the Chinese government from his mother on Friday, expressing sympathy for those affected by the deadly coronavirus outbreak. It would be nice if he sent some sympathy to the survivors, huh? Maybe he should have a handwritten letter delivered to Virginia Roberts by himself. Maybe he should do that. Maybe he should go and talk to the authorities and try and help the case along. Maybe he should have some sympathy for them, huh? I get it. Again, what's going on in China is horrible, and it has ramifications for the whole entire world with the way that it's spreading. Again, not being an alarmist, not saying that it's going to kill a bunch of people, but, this kind of disease can really disrupt society because of all the other things that go on around it. So I could understand, again, like I said, I could understand why the Queen would want to reach out and let the Chinese know that they have their support, etc., etc. But Prince Andrew has to be the mouthpiece for that? I mean, are you kidding me right now? I thought he stepped back from public life. Shouldn't he be sitting around reading books and smoking a pipe or whatever it is these rich royal weirdos do? It was delivered when he attended a dinner hosted by the Chinese ambassador to Britain, Liu Zhiming. The meeting, recorded in photographs posted to Liu's Twitter account, marks one of the Duke's first major appearances since he withdrew from public duties in November after his disastrous Newsnight interview about his relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Pressure is mounting for the prince to cooperate with the FBI, which is investigating the late financiers, pedophiles, crimes in the U.S. And what I find funny is that it was the Chinese ambassador the Chinese ambassador who posted it to his Twitter. It wasn't like there was a royal memo sent out or anything like that, because they know they don't want this to get out, right? They're not going to publicize this. But in this day and age, everybody has Twitter. What did they think, that the Chinese ambassador wasn't going to, gloat that he was hanging out with the royals? Of course he is, right? So they probably, the royal family, it's not on their Twitter. They definitely didn't publicize it. But the Chinese ambassador, oh yeah, he's all over that. It was delivered when he attended a dinner hosted by the Chinese ambassador to Britain. Oh, we read that already. Excuse me. All right, next paragraph. Liu announced on Twitter Her Majesty the Queen sent an encouraging message to President Xi Jinping and the Chinese people. At the critical time of fighting coronavirus, I express my sincere sympathy for Chinese people and pray for the speedy control and victory over the virus. It was conveyed by the Duke of York. In a separate tweet, Liu continued, My wife and I invited the Duke of York and his family to our residence and celebrated Lunar New Year. Their enthusiasm for China and contribution to China-UK relations is highly appreciated. Well, that's nice and all, right? It's nice that the Duke of York is still moonlighting around. Nice that the Duke of York is still living that high life. Nice that the Duke of York is not paying any price for what he did to Virginia Roberts. It's nice that the Duke of York is not suffering for his enabling of Jeffrey Epstein, right? Still running around, celebrating Lunar New Year, hanging out with ambassadors, doing messenger missions for his mom. Must be nice, huh? Even the disgraced prince is getting a little bit of love. Isn't it sad, folks? Isn't it sad that they really don't give a shit about the people who were affected by Andrew and Epstein? The whole reason he has stepped back is for image's sake. That is it. That is the whole entire reason why Prince Andrew is no longer in the public eye. Okay? It has nothing to do with the royal family from the Queen on down giving one single spit about any of these survivors. Andrew's divorced wife, Sarah, Duchess of York, their daughter Beatrice, and her fiancé, Eduardo Mapelli Mosey, were also present. The royal message came soon after Lou reportedly conveyed his displeasure to Prime Minister Boris Johnson's father, Stanley Johnson, over the British government's handling of the coronavirus outbreak. Look, the Chinese have some nerve with that nonsense. They have the audacity to talk about how anybody else has handled the coronavirus outbreak. Come on. It's been a complete failure for them to even get containment on this thing. So I don't know who he thinks he's admonishing, but I hope Boris Johnson gave him the finger. Last week it emerged that Andrew will give Princess Beatrice away when she marries in the Chapel Royal at St. James Palace in May. Look, I can't fault him for that. It's his daughter. If you've noticed, I've never even talked about his children on this podcast. I'm not going to get into that nonsense. I don't attack a man's family or a woman's family unless they're involved in the enabling, and these are, his kids, right? So if his daughter wants him to walk her down the aisle, I'm not going to get on board and bust balls about that. But it should not be on public TV or anything like that. They should make it a private event, go celebrate it with your family and whatever. But the public should not be subjected to having to see this man's stupid grin or any of that nonsense. Epstein survivor Virginia Roberts, who alleges the prince had sex with her 3 times when she was a teenager, which he denies, tweeted, "The only thing that should be ringing for him is the sound of shackles tied around his ankles on the way to the tower." The Duke was spotted yesterday driving from his house in Windsor beside his former wife, Sarah. The pair met 2 days after Beatrice, 31, and Eduardo Mapelli's wedding arrangements were announced. Earlier this week, the prince agreed to turn down a promotion to the rank of admiral ahead of his 60th birthday later this month. The move would have been in line with a long-standing policy under which senior royals were treated as if they had stayed in the armed forces and were promoted to higher ranks as a result. Folks, why is Prince Andrew, Handsy Andy, the dullard, the buffoon, still doing messenger missions for Mummy? You're out, bro. You're not allowed to do anything, okay? You basically need to be on arrest from the public view. We don't want to see your face on anyone's Twitter. We don't want to see you at state dinners. We certainly don't want to hear no bells ringing for you, okay? You want to go walk your daughter down the aisle? That's perfectly fine. Do what you have to do. Don't make it a public scene, though. If it becomes public, you're going to open yourself up to scrutiny, and then I'll be here to tell you I told you so. Even if it is a public event, I still won't be criticizing his daughters. I don't find it there's no point in it, right? There's no point in it. They're not really part of this story, right? They're collateral damage. I actually feel bad for his daughters because imagine this was your father and you knew that he used you as an excuse to say that he was having pizza with you during the day. So that means that at night he couldn't have done what Virginia Roberts claims he did. Imagine. So if this all comes out and say he gets found guilty, right? Say in the future, in a perfect world, Andrew gets arrested and he's found guilty. Imagine what his daughter will have to feel every night when she lays down in bed and she knows that her dad used her as an alibi to protect himself from human trafficking and sexual assault charges. Imagine that. And that's why I don't really pile on to the kids, his daughters, and are they elitists? Again, I don't really know, right? I don't know much about the royal family. I only know enough from, know what I know from the outside looking in. I've never really done a closer look or a deep dive. It just doesn't interest me. The Plantagenets and the Tudors, yeah, that's interesting. But the Windsors, no, not very interesting to me. So I don't really find the children a relevant part of the story. So if you were wondering, that's my explanation why I don't really cover that stuff. All right, folks, so tomorrow we'll do our daily drop, and then in the afternoon, we're going to do the evolution episode where we go through all of the people that Glenn Dubin donated politically to, and if any of those people returned the money. So that's on tap for tomorrow, and of course, the usual daily drop, and we'll get rocking and rolling like usual, folks. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Saturday. For myself, I'm about to go and watch some UFC. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. If you would like to help support the podcast, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. To everybody who has donated already, thank you so much. We are more than halfway to our goal. And guess what? It's almost Santa Fe time. Almost time, folks. The much-awaited trip is about to crack off. I cannot wait. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a fantastic Saturday night. If you're going out and partying like usual, like I always tell you, please do not drink and drive.